Dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll, all in one station, mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY New Waverly, Texas, 91.1 FM, The Boss. It's time to change. If you like country, we play it. If you like pop, we play it. If you like Latin music, we play it. If you like rock and roll, we play it. Because no one does fusion music like we do. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
Programs presented are submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM, The Boss, and affiliates.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Superhuman with Dr. V and Jason Phelps. I am Dr. V, and with me always is Jason Phelps. I was kind of worried that he wasn't going to make it back from his trip this week. I was going to have to do it alone.
No,
Last week was it was much different being here by myself because I love that Jason always brings in, we connect really well on a lot of levels, but he always brings in other things that I'm like, oh man, I meant to ask that, and he didn't. And so it was hard last week because I know he would have had a lot of good questions for Sam. But this week, we're going to be talking about a topic that's very, very hot, and everybody sees it, all over the place now, and that's CBD. There's any number of CBD stores now all along any highway or road that you drive down. And it's really the kind of the wild west of CBD, and that's why I wanted to bring in somebody that really knows about CBD and the scientific evidence and the basis behind it, because right now it's the wild west of CBD, and everybody has a CBD, and it's only because it's hot. Yep. Anytime there's a hot topic, you always get the people that are knowledgeable about it, the people that know what they're talking about, and then the people that are just in it to hey, it's what's hot right now.
Make a quick buck,
Make a quick buck and get in and get out. And so today I wanted to welcome Lisa Hilton. She owns Hemplication here in the Woodlands, and it's a face and body and like a spa. Basically,
yes, it's a med spa.
It's a med spa, yes. But she specializes in CBD. So welcome, Lisa.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And I really want to get into, we talked about it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your background, your story, because I think your story is what people want to hear first to see why you got into CBD. So what kind of got you into CBD and interested about learning and using CBD?
Well, actually, I was a professional competitor in NPC, bodybuilding and fitness competitions, and I had a stroke on stage.
Oh my goodness.
How old?
It was on my 40th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2012.
Okay.
And it was at the Texas Natural State Championship. So it was a big deal for me. I've been working years to get there. And I had a stroke on stage. Thought I was in the best shape of my life, and didn't even know that I was having that. But it was quite a life-changing moment for me. And so I had the stroke, and in my recovery, I had so many medications that I was being prescribed, and so many things I had to do. And I had the side effects to every single one of them. It was horrible. It was miserable. It was just devastating to me to come from somewhere so high in my life to go like boom. And I was paralyzed my left side. I had a lot of therapy that I had to go through, and in all this time I was depressed, and I got on medications. They put me on Zoloft, and I actually had a suicide attempt. and it was like not me at all. That's not my personality. I'm the person that people come to get lifted up, you know?
Right.
And so my mom threw away all those medications and said, forget this, we're going natural, we're going old school. Talked to my one of my aunts that's a nurse that has brain cancer and has medicinal cannabis, and we went that route and tried that. I was getting a lot of relief, but I didn't like the high. Just not for me. And so my daughter, actually, she's actually my niece. I kind of adopted her. So she had graduated. She was a psychology major at the time. And she was specializing in with her boyfriend and growing and stuff, and they moved to Colorado, and she kind of educated me about all the things CBD. So I went to Colorado when they moved there, and I started looking into it more, taking it, and was wowed by the changes that were happening to me, and it was so awesome.
And this was the CBD oil.
The
correct?
CBD
the
oil,
CBD
yes.
oil in the extra. Okay.
And it was, I started using isolate because I didn't want to have any THC, and I was doing really great things on its own, but I was still having pain from my limbs coming back and the shooting nerves and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did the full spectrum, and it was amazing that I could tell the difference between the two. And so I started wanting to learn more.
So for the listeners, you know, just to explain, CBD oil is cannabidiol oil, and it's basically, you know, when she's, you know, talking about THC, the THC-D9, that's what people test positive for, and that is more of the psychoactive, and that's, you know, like you were saying,
Correct.
that's what, you know, that's what gives people the high a lot of times.
Correct.
And you know, isolates, or, you know, you're talking about isolates and full spectrum, and there's a lot of differences and a lot of like
Yes.
CBD oil. So you'll hear people that say, I tried CBD oil, it didn't work. There's a lot of different forms, and we'll kind of dive into that.
Yeah, I'll kind of get
so-
into that too.
So the CBD oil that you were using, it was basically you started using it and liking the effects. Okay.
And then I started taking classes. I went to Colorado and I took a course, and it had about 12 different courses in there, and I learned everything from the laws to growing to harvesting to manufacturing, marketing. And when I came back here, this was in 2018 is when I opened up my place, and it was still illegal here. I was flying under the radar, but I was just like, okay, so I had absolutely no THC in all the products that I had, so I was still legal because there was no THC. But it wasn't until the following year that it actually became legal and more known and stuff like that. So I've since then taken up to date about 32 different courses in all things cannabis in every different area to learn more on how it works for you, the different types, the, you know, every interactions that it has with other pharmaceuticals and things like that that people don't think of. And also legalities, because there's a lot of concerns with that as well too, even though it's legal with children's, you know, for instance. So I started taking that, and then I started just it went booming. At first it was hard because there were so many obstacles. Everybody was afraid of it. Even the banks, I couldn't get anybody to work with me to run my credit cards. And I went to Chase, thankfully, and you know, they had to do a thorough investigation. They checked all of my stuff, and it's all legit, and I'm good. I was good to go. So people started coming, but it was very, very few. Everybody was afraid.
Where was the original storefront?
It's still where I'm at. I'm in a Portofino shopping center right now. So
Good.
I've been there. This is my 3rd year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now on your
Thank you.
specific symptoms and things like that. Now, what did you find, and what time frame are you talking about? So, you know, when you started using the cannabidiol, like what did you see start being relieved as far as, you know, I know, you know, the depression and all those things. So what did you see? Was it more of the like pain? Was it
with me right off the bat? It was the anxiety. I had so much anxiety, and I suffered from PTSD because everything that was happening to me, I thought it was happening again. I was like, oh no, you know, if I had, you know, anything heartburn, I'm like, oh no, it's happening again.
People think PTSD is simply war or trauma, and PTSD is just basically the easiest way to describe PTSD is somebody is reliving their worst day of their life over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
and that's the
very,
easiest way
very
to
true.
describe PTSD.
Very true. So I was going through that, and then I noticed that I was able to sleep because I also was not able to sleep. It was helping with my migraines. I suffered from photophobia, which is a sensitivity to light, and I was able to sleep. I was able to do things. I would, go to the store. I couldn't even go there. I had so much anxiety over everything. And all of that was just...
I assume your training ended at the same time as well, so you also lost
Well,
your outlet
okay.
for that.
I totally did. And then when I got the okay to go back to the gym, I was like, I'm going back, you know? I had another stroke a year later, and it was because I jumped back into it, and I started training again. And I was then told that I could no longer do what I loved and what made me happy. So I was like, okay, well, at that time I was like, I'm going to go back to work. I got the clearing for everything too. At that time I had interviewed with all of the plastic surgeons and doctors out here, med spas. Nobody would hire me. I also suffer from aphasia, which is inability to communicate, either take things in or say things. It comes out weird at times and stuff. That's why I was kind of afraid here. I was like, oh no, I hope I say everything.
No, it's a conversation.
I would not have known it.
Yeah. So nobody would hire me, and at that time I was more not as advanced as I am in my healing, and so I understood that. But at the same time I was like, well, you know what, I'm sure there's a lot of people going through what I'm going through, emotionally, physically, after having such a devastating illness happen. So I said, I'm just gonna start it up, and I'm gonna try and help people who are going through the same dark valleys that I was going through, and it's since been the best thing that ever happened to me.
So when you first started out, you're on your own doing your own thing. Who were the kind of people you kind of targeted first? Say, these are the people I think I can help the most, and where did you find success early?
Honestly, I had it was a struggle, but I was hustling. I'm a hustler. I was going out to all the nail salons, hair salons, everywhere, passing out my stuff, area things, talking to people, joined the Chamber of Commerce. And I was here in the Woodlands. I was shocked at the welcoming,
just the community
reaction that I got from them, because at first I was like, oh gosh, everybody's like, oh no, it's drugs. But they came from me there, and the chamber is what got me started. They started coming in slowly but surely. They'd come in, spread a word,
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool how it went. So it was basically the community and people who was like, you know what, my aunt or somebody had a stroke. It was always the stroke, and it would be like, hey, someone's going through this or that, and then it just took off from there. So I had...
We were kind of mentioning before we got on the radio, we were talking about our pets too.
Yeah.
And that's another area where,
Yep.
we started in CBD. It was because of our dog.
Well, and I'm, thanks to Lisa, like we were talking about it right before we got on, is we have a little Boston Terrier that's just a little ball of nerves and is always shaking. Regardless of whether there's a thunderstorm or not, is just always shaking and nervous, and was having some what they call DJD, or degenerative joint disease, in her neck. And we thought she was kind of younger. We were like, she ain't that old. She's 6 years. We looked at her birth certificate the other day. She's 8, and so she's a little bit older than we thought. So she was having she got a couple of months ago to where she couldn't even jump up on the couch, and she would jump up on the couch with us and sit with us, and that went away. And then now, since we started with the CBD for the dogs, she is very calm, and you can tell visibly no pain, because you would touch her and she would yelp. And then now, none of that. Very, very calm, doesn't shake, and
helps
so
with storms and things as well.
First-hand knowledge that it does work for dogs.
Well, see, dogs have the same endocannabinoid system that we do, and it's exactly the same, and CBD works the same way for them. So it helps with the inflammation, the pain, and it's muscle, all the way from the muscles to the joints as well. So even topically, even if they didn't take it orally, if they had something like a hurt leg or a bite or something like that, you could put it topically and it would help it immediately, rather than having it taken orally. Same thing with us, it works. So
what are the main kind of indications you're seeing, or people coming in for? Because I know it's a spa, because I do see there's a lot, with even facial, hair, but as far as pain, because CBD, historically, what we know from CBD is pain. We have a lot of people with pain, sleep, anxiety. I'm seeing through the roof because of COVID. Like patients that were previously fine, especially now. I have a lot of patients that have anxiety. Now, what I would rather them do something like CBD or something rather than here's some Xanax or here's some this or you know, I mean, it's just benzodiazepine is like one of the worst drugs to actually withdraw from.
I have several clients that I help get off of
that. And that's the goal. Like, I think, and I've said it before, I think that good medicine needs to start being how many people we can get off medicine rather than how many we can put on. Yeah. Now, I'm not totally against medicine. I never have been.
Right.
There's a certain point, but I think even the message for medicine is different now. Is like, we think we need to put them on meds and you're on it for the rest of your life. Yeah. And by the time you're 50, 60 years old, you're on 10 medications, and that's normal. And I think, you know, I believe in medications for a short-term period to take care of an issue and then off if possible.
Right.
Yes, there are some that need it long-term, but again, the anxiety, I would rather that than anything else. So, I mean, we've heard about it historically with pain, with anxiety, cancer, things like that. So what are you seeing mainly at your store?
And, you know, I know we're jumping from things to things, and if I leave anything out, just remind me, and
I'll
come back to it. But it gets confusing because my spa is a med spa. I am a licensed medical esthetician over 10 years. I specialize in oncology. And when I had the stroke, I was down for quite some time, but my education never stopped. I was continually trying to, as a form of therapy, you know, because I lost memory. I was having trouble speaking. There's people still that I don't recognize from my past, and some of it's good, but
I got a clean slate. We'll just start over.
But yeah, so I started with that, and then I started dabbling more into the CBD stuff, and then I started learning how it ties together, because with oncology, when you're going through that, your skin, all the medications, and not just oncology, but any other illness, any medications takes a toll on your skin. It dries it out. It makes you have acne. It makes it sensitive. It does so many things. So after you get done with this, or even during this, in certain instances, you could utilize CBD, and it helps to repair that skin. Because what CBD does ultimately is repair. It brings you back to homeostasis. Our body is, we've got the endocannabinoid system has 2 receptors, and the receptors, what it does, CBD attaches to those receptors, and they fight to repair. And it's throughout our entire body. So CB1 receptor is your neurological, and then CB2 is all the other cells throughout your body. So when it goes through, it's going to help you entirely, no matter where it goes. You could be suffering, taking it for one thing, and then realize something else is getting, repaired.
So how does that? So there's full spectrum. There's the broad spectrum stuff. What is the difference in that and isolate when it comes to the repair process?
It's different because the broad spectrum is going to have just a little bit more of the different cannabinoids and that are in there. But the THC, the pain part, anything that's full spectrum is going to have THC in it.
Okay.
Anything that's broad spectrum and isolate are not.
Right.
And so isolate is just CBD only. And then the broad spectrum has other cannabinoids, other compounds that are in there that are beneficial. They're right, but it's just no THC. Okay. So it's all beneficial, and they all have their things. I'm sure people have seen the charts. If you go look it up online, there's plenty of charts that show you the difference and show you what all it helps, and people can kind of decide from there.
So what would be a difference that you would notice physically that would help you make that decision? Like, say you were trying a broad spectrum and an isolate.
Right.
What would be some of the differences that you would notice? Like maybe one works better than the other in some way?
With those, everybody's different because everybody's bodies are different. Everybody reacts different. Everybody's metabolism is different. It's kind of one of those lottery things.
Try them both and see what you like better.
The main concern that I have, and I kind of bring it up to people who don't even think about it, but is legalities of their job. If they're subject to
That's
drug
what I
testing,
run into. That's what I run into.
If they're subject to drug testing,
police,
I usually tell
firefighters,
they have to have a certified product,
they have to have a lot of them have what we call a COA, or certificate of analysis, and they'll show that, and a lot of them have a QR code, and you can scan it and show their COA, bring it up. So a lot of those I'm very, very careful, because I do carry 2 at the clinic. One's called Medline RX, and I have to be careful with my patients that that's one of the first questions is, are you going to be tested? Because if they are, then you don't want to give them anything that has any kind of THC,
Right.
THC-D9 in it. So,
Right.
but as far as, what I do know is that some of the products that have the THC are actually more effective for certain things, for certain like pain,
Well,
for the
overall,
anxiety.
I tell
Overall,
people that
overall.
is going to be your best thing to work for you is going to be a full spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's only if there's legalities involved that, and I throw things out there that they don't even think about, especially if they're, I have a lot of people that come for their children to get them off Ritalin and different things like that, you know, and it works wonders on them too. But I point out, are you going through a divorce? That could be a problem.
Yeah.
Schools, even college students, if they are on a scholarship, if they test anything, it could ruin their, you know, scholarship and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that people just don't think of. They just want the, you know, and then of course they all come in, I want the strongest one you got.
Right.
Give me the strongest one. And that's not how CBD works.
Yeah. So as far as like, you know, again, we're talking about indications, you know, is it all individualized? Say somebody comes in and wants to talk about pain, or now is there a consult that they do with you? So what's the process like? I come in to see you and I say I have pain or I have anxiety. So do you,
Okay.
so what's the process as far as that?
So when they book with me, they come in, I have to have a consultation. I do phone consultations too. I kind of like to get to know what they're going through, what they're dealing with, all the elements, kind of get a style of, or get, you know, a feel for their lifestyles also, because it helps me to be able to recommend what's going to work best. I'm like, I have to do a full medical background, and I get their height, their weight, everything, and what they're dealing with, the other medications they're taking, and then I kind of get to know them, because my goal ultimately is to help them.
Right.
You know, I've even gone so far as just think about it. You want to buy from someone else, fine, come and ask me. I'll be more than glad to answer you and tell you about the products that you've purchased. And I'm like, but please don't buy it at a gas station.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because like you said, there's a lot of
Fake.
Me Too's,
A lot of fake products out there in the
throwing it
CBD world, right?
But there's a lot, because it's not FDA regulated. You can slap a label on anything, and I've had people come in, and surprisingly, she bought something, and this one client, and she's like, well, she was a rather large lady, and they sold her like 100 milligrams. And I'm like, that's not even enough for a Chihuahua. You know, you should be taking more, especially she had cancer and different things. I'm like, that's not going to do anything. I mean, they say start out low, but honey, that's not going to help.
Yeah.
And then people get deterred when they're spending. She spent $100 on that. And she's like,
It felt like she got taken advantage
yes.
of.
And it was discouraging. She didn't want to try it again.
You bet.
So, and it happens a lot because of the fraud that's out there, unfortunately. A lot
And
of
the lack
people
of
get
education.
deterred.
One
And
thing
the
I'm
lack
hearing
of
over and over and
education.
over with you,
Yes.
and I don't know if y'all have paid attention, is,
Yes.
and that's what I like about you, Lisa, is the education and
Yeah.
the continued education.
That's right.
I'm
And-
addicted
and-
to
and-
the
yeah,
little
exactly.
It's not just that. The laws keep changing.
The law,
Yes.
The state's laws keep changing. The federal law is under
Yes.
potentially changing. I know it's reached the House at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, so there's a lot of things going on, and having somebody that's keeping abreast of all those changes
Yeah.
for you.
And it's
Can
hard,
really keep you out of trouble.
especially with, and I think that's one of the other things. I truly believe that, and let me explain that I've been taking this since about 2013 to now, and I've taken it religiously. I have severe food allergies. I have asthma, or I had, because I don't have any of these things anymore. And I'm 100% pharmaceutical free. I don't take any medication, especially ibuprofen. You know, if I have, something happen, and it's just like, okay, and I don't have my CBD.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like you're worried about the stroke anymore. It doesn't sound like you're worried about recurrence of that.
And I can tell, like, if I stop taking it for 2 weeks, I can tell.
You start to get that feeling back, that dread kind of feeling.
And then it's something that, it's one thing that it works if you take it long term. It is a long term thing that you have to do, and you have to keep it, what works for you. Like, I do every form of intake, topical, everything, because I can. But not everybody can afford that. So I like for people to come in so I can talk to them, get to know them, and say, okay, this is what's going to work best for you. And kind of like with workout supplements and stuff like that, you stack those, right?
Yep.
So CBD works the same way sometimes. For people in certain instances with what they're dealing with, they might need to stack and have maybe oil in the morning and a capsule at night or different things like that.
Let's pause on that because I'd like to dig into that more, and we'll go to our first commercial break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back and we'll talk about how these things work together. Sound good?
Turn on your glam today. The Jenna Klein collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the Jenna Klein lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit jennaklein.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. jennaklein.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 F.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. And it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands. And I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Hi everyone, this is Chef Laurent. I'm the owner of Taste of Paris, a catering company for seniors. If you want to know more about our services, give us a call at 832-415-7374 or visit our webpage at laurentvalsculinary.com. Thank you.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Dr. V and Jason Phelps. We're just starting to dig into supplements. So you know
we kind of found a good spot that we wanted to dig into right before the break, which was going to be how do these things work together? Like, what are some of the things that people may try in conjunction with each other to get more benefit from them?
Okay, so I spoke a little bit about, people's metabolism. And a lot of people, there'll be someone who is very active, always on the go and tiny, and you can tell, they have a fast metabolism. Something like the drops are not going to last as long. And I say the drops are tinctures is the correct word.
Right.
But most people know them as the drops, so I just kind of go in there. So that will burn out.
Is that because it has to pass through your gastronomic system and it gets broken down quicker?
It's considered a fast relief.
Okay.
Release. Like anything capsules, anything edible is a slow release, and it goes through your body slower, And so somebody with a high metabolism is going to burn out halfway through the day with a dose and think, oh, it just doesn't work. It worked in the morning, but then it just kind of didn't work. In that case, and you don't want to take too much because it is an oil product and it could make you have loose bowels, different things like that. Some people are sensitive to oils, so that would be another reason why you wouldn't take the oils. You would take a capsule or something like that was more of a solid base or an edible. Gummies and stuff like that instead of the oil, because I do come across a lot of people that have sensitivities, and when they take it at first, I've had people come in and think, I tell them how to take it because you have to start slow and low, and it's called microdosing, and people will not listen and they'll go and jump in and have explosive diarrhea and things like that, and get deterred from that as well.
I see.
It's like, well, if you just listen to my instructions, then you won't have this.
You wouldn't be calling me from the bathroom,
right? So in that case, you would, you could have someone start it because they really need with the anxiety and stress. That's going to work quicker on, if taking the tinctures, because it goes straight through your blood system, and it's going to fix, all the things mental basically that's going to help with that area. And then halfway through the day, they can take something that's not going to, say that they need the THC for the pain. You want to take that, but you don't want to get tired. Some people get tired from something with THC in it, which would be the full spectrum.
Or hungry?
Not really. It doesn't really affect you that same way because there's not enough in there to have that kind of feeling.
Okay.
Those don't come with that.
Good.
But because it's only 0.3%, that's the legal amount or less. And most of these reputable companies, they try and have the least amount possible.
Right.
You'll go in there and you'll look at the analysis and the test results, and you can see how much is in there. Some of them are 0.01. You know, they really try to keep it out of there. In some cases, they'll have it, you know, the ones from Colorado that I get have exactly 0.3, and you can tell the difference.
Right.
Even if you know, especially if you have never partaken in any type of cannabis, you would probably think you were high, because you would be that sensitive to it, and it have even that little bit of amount. But it also helps with pain, like great.
Now, is it cumulative? So I know if somebody takes it, is it going to increase in level to where they would test positive, as even if with a low amount of THC, or would it, or is it just strictly dependent on the percentage?
If you're taking it for long periods of time and you're taking full spectrum, you're going to pop positive. Okay. If you're taking it orally,
it'll eventually deposit in the fat cells and things like that, and it'll stick around.
Okay. Yes.
And there's some different things in each person that make that happen as well.
Exactly. Everybody's different. You never know how someone. That's why especially with these drug testings and job losses and different things like that, even medical benefits, because there's people who are on certain plans, and if they do their blood drawn and it pop up and they lose their benefits, it's happened.
Yes.
Not with anybody with me, but I've had them come in and tell me stories, and that's why they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, I can never be 100% sure because I didn't make it. But
there's a lot of trust that goes into that.
Yes. And I've had people go and take tests, and they're like, I just want you to know, I went and I bought me a drug test a month after, and you were right. I didn't test positive, and I was like, so I gave you extra anxiety.
Well, not anymore.
But not anymore.
Good.
So, yes. I mean, if that's what he needed, then that's what he did, and that's good for him.
So earlier you mentioned that there are some issues with taking certain medications and potentially with CBD together. Yes. So if a client walks in and they've got a long list of medications that they're on, what are some of the common ones that does have a poor interaction?
What would be a contraindication? Like, what would be one that you for sure would not mix?
Anything that was going to make them be impaired.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to have them take it because it would make them even more impaired.
So Xanax, for instance, something like that.
Xanax, different things like that. Anything that would make it, because I've taken like any of the codeines, any stuff like that. Anything that's going to make you knock out, it's going to make you knock out further, and you never know with their other health issues that could take them into a deeper form of
anxiety or
coma
depression
or something like that. It could be a medical issue that you just don't want to cross that line.
Okay.
And so I tell people always, when they're on that many medications, they usually go to their doctor, discuss it. I give them the information, the papers, everything that they're thinking about taking, my recommendations. They take it to their doctor, and then they come back and they're like, he said that's going to be fine. And
in all reality, the Xanax, I mean, we should be using the CBD to get off Xanax.
Yes.
Right.
And I have people that actually do that. They come in and they're like, I need to get off of this. I'm taking it too much. And so then they start with I'm like, don't ever stop anything. I tell people, don't ever stop anything. Work with your doctors and, do it like this. Wean off of it. Just like anything else, and so they just go back and forth, say, start the morning with CBD, then take their Xanax, and then if they can wean off of it, only have the CBD the rest of the day or something like that, and then eventually it gets to where they're completely off.
Well, so there's a lot of different, uses, and we know about some of the ones that we're seeing is like anticonvulsant because they use it for like epilepsy, or for seizure activity. Really, we know about the antiemetic, so nausea, vomiting, which again, that's why it works for many reasons with cancer patients. But antipsychotic, so psychiatric disorders,
right.
Antioxidant. I mean, and one of the ones like we were talking about, anxiolytic, antidepressant.
Yes.
Anti-inflammatory for the pain.
Yes.
Pain management, again, ties in with anti-inflammatory, pet-friendly. I'm really interested too and I know a lot of people, we kind of touched on it earlier, in the hair, because I have this problem all the time with patients. A lot of them, the first thing is like, hey, my hairdresser told me my hair's falling out. It's my thyroid. And so we'll come in and, their thyroid may be a little bit lower. They may be full-blown hypothyroid, and we'll fix their thyroid. Their hair still falls out. And so, there's a lot more that goes into hair loss than just thyroid and hormones. So I'm really interested in what you do or what you recommend as far as, at your spa for hair and skin, because I know that you do a lot, as an esthetician.
Yes.
What are the benefits of skin and hair, and how do you use that?
Okay, so CBD for your skin, CBD is a natural anti-aging agent, and so it helps with that. It helps with any kind of skin issues. It's antibacterial. It has antibacterial factors in it.
I did not know that.
And it helps to
never heard
get
that
rid
before.
of, if you have
Really?
any kind of sores, even your pimples, it helps to get rid of acne.
How about that?
It helps to slow down your sebaceous glands from overproducing, so it helps to slow down the
You hear that,
production
teenage
of
boys?
oil for acne. It's the best thing. I have so many women, especially now with all the masks that we're having to wear. A lot of
Right.
people are breaking out around here because they're wearing these supposedly, washable.
they're not clean in most people's
washable
cases.
Things, and they're not washing them. And they're breathing in all this bacteria, so they're getting all of these acne around here from the mask. They come in, and I'm just like, use the face serum. There's serums you can use for it, but there's rosacea. It helps to calm down the rosacea. It doesn't, obviously that is an internal issue. It's not something you can cure, but you can control it. Any kind of cuts, bruises, anything like that, it just helps with healing.
You see any psoriasis and eczema?
Always.
Okay.
Psoriasis and eczema, it helps to control it. Again, that is something that is internal. Yes. And but yeah, it helps. And I have people that have had even eczema all over their body, and I'm like, take this bath bomb and just try that. It's $15. You're not going to be out of pocket. Just give it one try. They come back, okay, what else you got? And so I've had it, and completely gone. They're gone from having spots and being like this leper, and to being able to wear short sleeves again, being able to wear shorts again, being out of pain, because sometimes it could be, plaquish and very, very thick and painful.
Especially in the joint area, especially in any joints. God, it's really disruptive to their just movement.
Yes.
Hair.
And
I'm
so
really
with
interested
the
in hair.
What I do is the hair restoration I do is through microneedling, and I infuse the CBD with that. Now, with all the courses that I've taken, I have my own brand also that I make different things, and I have made this serum. It's a hair growth serum, and I've seen great success. I have some pictures on my website as well, showing within 6 months, a quarter of an inch of growth, which is huge. And just, you can use it topically throughout in between the series, because you'd have to get a series for it to work. Sometimes I've had this one guy came in and got one treatment done. He hasn't been back, but he saw enough growth, and he wears it kind of like yours, where it's just, short, but he doesn't grow it out. That was plenty enough for him. But I also do the, the tattoo, where you can do the pigmentation. And you can do also, some of the women who are thinning, you can actually do just like you microblade the brows. You can microblade pigment into your scalp, so you don't see the thinning and the balding areas and stuff like that too. But again, with all of that, I use CBD in everything that I do, because it helps with the healing process. But it does stimulate your hair follicles, wakes it up, and they start growing again.
Yep.
Yes.
Your website up there. Well, I'm definitely coming in.
Yeah.
My wife's been trying to get me to come in forever. My wife is originally how we met, but she went in to see you, and so she's actually said to say hi, and that she'll be back soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're, I urge everybody, just because of the Wild West nature of CBD right now, to go see somebody knowledgeable like Lisa.
Yeah.
That actually knows what she's talking about, and has a lot of different options, and has the experience to kind of help you out. I am also interested in, I was really interested in the aesthetic, but I'm also really interested now. Do you see any, from our background, like Jason, we have anybody that lifts, any athletes, any bodybuilders, any that, do you see, because that was part of your background.
Yes.
Now, do you see any clients now that have
I
maintain?
I do, and I actually have some NFL players that come in, and I work on them. It helps with the soreness, because, like I said, it goes from the muscles to the joints. They come in, a lot of them use the bath bombs after a show, after a big training, hard training session. They'll come in and just get, I'll sit there and do a CBD treatment on whatever area they have, and I'll do some, massage and stuff like that on them with the product. But they just usually come in to buy the stuff. And, they take it before a show, they take it on the road. Because I used to do the hair tanning and makeup for competitors, and I'd travel with them from show to show. And that's actually how I started competing, was working in that industry, because I've been doing this a long time. And but yeah, I have several people. I've got a lot of bodybuilders that come in.
We know a lot of people will start sending your way.
Yeah, one or two.
Yeah, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it totally helps after, and it helps with the people. People get confused when it says it helps with muscle growth, and in a lot of ways it helps because when you're under stress and you're
recovering better.
Tense and you recover
You
better,
recover
but also
better.
because you can sleep and you're
Right.
sleeping better, you're less stressed, and it gives you time for those muscles to grow.
To recover. Recovery, we always say recovery is digging, training is digging a hole, and recovery is filling the hole back in, but nobody fills the hole back in or properly or enough. It's like we dig, and we always have the CT Fletcher model where it's like, more, pain.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I did too.
I got knocked down, and now I just, it's funny because I found my calling at, I will be 48 in a couple months, and CBD does this because I know I don't look my age.
You do not look 48,
you do not look 48
at all.
And with all of the stuff I've been through, and I've been through a lot of medical stuff, but for my skin to be the way that it is, it has a lot to do with the CBD, because I really, I would go in to try all these other skincare products, and none of them, they would irritate me. They had other ingredients that irritated me. Very sensitive skin, and CBD has done wonders for me.
Awesome.
It even helps with even dark spots that women get and stuff like that, like melasma and different things like that. It just naturally kind of dissipates it and kind of gets rid of it too. Another plus.
Well, we'll continue on with that thought in just a minute. We're going to go to one more break from our sponsors, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Good.
Hi, I'm Isaac White, owner of the Isaac White Agency, a full-service property and casualty insurance agency located in Texas. Whether you need us to help you with your auto or your home insurance, your boat or your RV, we've got you covered. And our goal is to make sure you feel good about your insurance. Call us at 936-448-4000.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Hello, my name is Dr. Sadaf Javed. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and I see adults also. I've been practicing in the greater Houston area for the past 5 years, and my practice is in the west side of town. In these unprecedented times, it is so important to check in with your mental health. Please pick up the phone and call 832-304-7244 or mycognitivepsychiatry.com, and we would be happy to help. Thank you.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
My name is Dr. Willie Villarreal. I'm a board-certified family nurse practitioner, doctor of nursing practice, and owner and founder at Core Sports Health here in Conroe. At Core, we take a root cause functional medicine approach to help you achieve your optimal health and vitality. If you're suffering from any of the following symptoms, we can help you through a comprehensive treatment plan that includes diet and nutrition, exercise and activity, hormonal balance, and stress reduction. For an appointment, please call us at 936-441-2673 or visit us online at coresportshealth.com. Thank you and hope to see you soon.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Welcome back, everybody, to Superhuman with Dr. V and Jason Phelps, and we're just going to keep on, with our conversation of CBD. Jason had brought some, great points up in the break, about what to look out for.
How can I not get taken by the gas station?
Yeah,
shaman?
man. The gas station CBD.
I'm not going to take it by those guys.
It must work.
Yes.
So like what I was saying, with CBD not being, federally, I can't even speak
regulated.
Sometimes regulated. Yeah. Anybody can whip up something, slap a label on it, and sell it to you.
Sounds like I got something to do this afternoon.
Yeah. Start selling CBD.
Unfortunately, there's those people that are out there that will buy it, and there's a lot of markup on the products also. I've seen it, and I say unfortunately because you really want something that works to be affordable for people. You don't want to have to go when it doesn't have to be, 3 times.
The value needs to be
it
about the same as the cost.
And the good thing is a lot of the people that I buy from, I work with a lot of farmers. I like to stay with small farmers who've been doing this a long time rather than the people who just start up and be like, oh, okay, come work with me. I got this, whatever. Because I know what they've been doing. I've visited their farms. I've met them, the owners. We stay in constant contact, and it's a relationship. Right. And I trust them. I trust their products. When you go into these gas stations, you never know what you're getting. There's and all of my stuff is made in the USA. You get stuff that's coming from Spain, that's coming from different places that you really don't know what's in there. Well, and they can give you a test and the certification of analysis, and it can
totally be forged.
Yeah, you can make one up.
Type it up and give it to them.
All your athletes. I mean, would you go into your gas station and buy creatine or buy protein or buy? You wouldn't buy protein. You wouldn't buy any of the supplements that you would. And so you shouldn't expect even multivitamins. Or you shouldn't expect a high quality CBD from a gas station or from even from a lot of these shops. Yeah. Okay. Now, what kind of, one of the things I know sets you apart is the education. Like, I mean, is you're going to come, when you come to Lisa, you're going to see the education side and somebody that knows what they're talking about and continuously studies. But what are some of the things to kind of look out for, that are red flags to you? Are there any specific red flags that you should?
The main one, you want to make sure that your CBD says cannabidiol. Okay, there's people that say it has CBD in there, but it's really just hemp seed oil, and that has benefits on its own, but it's not the same thing. That's been the main thing that people are wording and hiding it in there, that it's hemp oil. They're labeling it. Well, being my nieces make stuff also, they have their own business, and I'm learning through them a different side of it, but there's a lot of things that are required to have on your label, and there's things that you cannot have on your label. You cannot say that it has to be labeled as supplementary, or dietary supplement and stuff like that. It has to be worded a certain way. And it changes constantly, like you were saying. It changes constantly. So you could have someone with a label that's just labeled wrong because it changed it, and they've done printed about 3,000 of them, and they just want to get rid of it and stuff like that. But there's different wordings. You just have to really read your labels. If you get a label that is so tiny you need a magnifying glass, you need to run. It's like,
good point.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You have to be able to read that label. And if you get a COA, you want to make sure that picture is on there. It's a batch for that particular bottle.
Yes.
That's the other thing, is people are selling things and giving just a basic,
COA
generic
for everything.
COA for everything. All of the products that I have is for that specific batch, that bottle. They're all allotted that way. And there's so many other things.
So coming to a store like yours, what you're doing is you're buying peace of mind.
Right.
And what is that worth for somebody who's already struggling with
just
all these other issues?
I've done the due diligence and I've done the research and I've done all of this. I take and test and try everything that I have in my shop. I don't have a whole big lot of it. It's small batches. When I started my company, I started with $2,000. I had no bank would, I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't do anything. Everything I've built has built on me, and then with the help of the community, spreading the word.
And to that point, being local, being somebody here in the Woodlands Chamber of Commerce, those are the people that we like to support. That's we talked about earlier.
I donate weekly to St. Jude's since day one.
Nice.
So everything that is purchased, any services that are done, are helping to give back and help with that too. So St. Jude's is a pretty big deal for the company that I rent the salon for. Everybody that's in there has an opportunity to do it, and I've been doing it since day one. So
awesome. So what are the other things going on in the salon in your business there? What else are we offering? I know we mentioned a few, but
I do facials with and without. All of the stuff that I do offer without as well. I am an Aveda graduate, and which is local also because Aveda is right behind where my place is at. And so I try and stay within the same, beliefs. And so I do all the facials. I do some body work. I am a paramedical tattoo artist. So I help people to conceal any kind of discoloring, disfigurements from cancer scars, different things like that, other issues. Kind of conceal to heal. Thing.
Kind of aid the reconstruction process.
Yeah, because when you get to that point in your life, some people like to have scars and they're like, okay, I want to keep it as a reminder. And when you get to that point, I think when you have healed and you're done and you've accepted this is the way life's going to be, then you're ready to move on. And it's like, let's cover this up. I'm tired of looking at it. And so same with brows. I do cosmetic brow tattoos. I do the hair pigmentation to kind of help people with any other, again, scarring. So where I went into it was all about the healing, helping people heal, because you just feel better when you don't stand out and you don't, things like that. So I do, there's so much. I do chemical peels, microneedling, facials. Try to think. I have so much stuff on there.
Well, with all these things that you have people coming in and out. Currently, right now, with COVID and that kind of thing, do they need to call in advance and set appointments?
Yes, I am appointment only.
Okay.
I've always been appointment only, and I'm just kind of one of those one-on-one. It's a one-on-one salon. So you come in, you don't have to wait anywhere. You come in. With COVID and everything, I spread out my appointments, so I have limited appointments throughout the day now. Take about 30 minutes to clean in between clients to make sure everything is done. Also, I'm regulated by the health department. I do have a tattoo license, and that's huge with all the other stuff that I do. I follow the laws, and I'm pretty strict. I'm a rule follower big time. So I take about 30 minutes to clean everything in between clients. You come in, and we visit. Everybody that comes in, and it's funny because I have people that come in, and I'm like, I think I'm a psychiatrist now because everybody's crying and they're just feeling better when they leave. And I was just like, oh, okay. It's just listening, And having somebody that can understand what you're going through is huge. And I know because I went through that. I had nobody to talk to. Even church, it was just like, okay, I got just say some prayers, you be good kind of mentality. That's the way I felt. And I was like, but when you find someone who can relate to you and know what you're going through, it doesn't matter what illness it is, you're still in that same frame of helplessness and hopelessness. And when you see somebody who's gained something through something that's not crazy, ridiculous, expensive, that is affordable and natural, it's huge.
Yeah. And they want to tell you about it after they've done it. Say, this is what's gotten better. This is what I've seen. This is what
Just like, for instance, with your dog. I have so many people that they come in and they're like, I know you have dog stuff in here. And I'm like, let me explain it.
And again, firsthand, it works.
Yes,
it works.
Absolutely.
Now, apart from the med spa, if you're local or not even have to be local.
I mean, you're right there off the highway. Anybody in Houston
anybody can come. From Houston. It's easy on, easy off.
I've had people fly in from New York. I've had people come in from drive 2 hours. I have a regular client that comes in and she is all the way in, I think, LaPorte, Yeah. It's a drive for her.
But if it works, it works.
But
But even apart from the med spa, locally, guys, if y'all have pain, inflammation, anxiety, depression, any of the things that we've kind of talked about have suffered from a stroke. Menopause symptoms. Because again, even then, we can fix and look on their labs like their hormones are good or better, and they'll still have some menopausal symptoms. They'll still have some hot flashes, night sweats, things like that. A lot of people think, oh, we just fix your hormones, and they go, and sometimes it's not. Exactly. We have to use
and I'm not a candidate for any of those because of the
stroke.
So, and a lot of people can't take different things because of medications or different other issues that they're dealing with. And that was another wall I hit into, because once I had the stroke, it threw me into menopause very early. And I started noticing, I was like, what's happening now? Not this. The night sweats and the hot flashes are real. And I was like, oh no. I started, taking more, and I upped it, and I changed my, regimen that I was doing. I don't have those symptoms anymore.
So what I'm seeing at the clinic, ever since we opened, but even more so now, is I see, a lot of people in pain. A lot of people that cannot sleep well.
Yeah.
That's rampant in the entire United States. So sleep well. A lot of anxiety, depression. You're talking about menopause. I do hormone therapy a lot, so I see a lot of that. Yeah. But the pain management side and the anti-inflammatory side, I would really, really urge. And here's what I've always said is using integrative type medicine. Am I going to hurt anybody with recommending CBD? No. Nope. So things like that. Why not? Before I jump to a medication that has known and expected side effects, watch any medication commercial on TV.
Yes.
40 seconds out of every 60-second commercial are dedicated to side effects. Okay, so why wouldn't I try something first that has been shown to help, and has little to no expected side effects, rather than a medication that has expected and known side effects, and instead of them being rare, they're very common. And so again, I'd urge anybody that has sleep problems, any kind of anxiety, depression, any kind of skin problems, because I do see a lot of that too. I had 2 of them today. Psoriasis and eczema, things like that.
Even dandruff, something that people deal with on a seasonal thing. It helps with that hugely. I've had people that come in, because I work, there's a lot of hairstylists around where I work also, and they'll come in, they're like, I have this and eczema. I'm like, well, you have eczema, you have little patches, and she's like, I got these dry skin. Put this on there. Even I'll just give them little testers or trial and put it on, see how it does. The next day they're like, oh my God, it's gone.
And I loved what you said earlier about the mask. About the issues people are having with wearing masks, and just having
that's huge.
Something for your skin.
I see so many people. I'll see someone down my hall, and I'm like, hey, here's a sample.
Hey, can I help you?
That's right. Here's a sample of you. I see what's going on.
Put this on your face.
Maybe, and wash that mask. But it's crazy. But I also, the other thing, as far as recommendations and people who sent to me, in the beginning when I started, surprisingly, I had MD Anderson doctors. I don't know, there was a couple of them out there. I don't even know who they were, but they were referring people to me.
That's great.
And it was word of mouth from their patients. And they were coming to me, and I was just like, oh, dealing with this people, helping them with pain post-surgery and stuff like that was natural. And there's a lot of things when you're going through you can't do, but there's a lot of things that you can do to help, and I was just thankful for that too.
So where do we already talked to you at Portofino Shopping Center.
Yes.
Where do people find you online? So I know you go to Hemplification.com.
No, Hemplication.
I just said it. I even said it. I said it by accident. You see, it's it's easy to do. So Hemplication.com.
Hemplication, the application of hemp.
Okay,
is
perfect.
How I played with that. Okay. So I am at Portofino Shopping Center. Hemplication.com is my website.
Yeah,
where in the Portofino are you, by the way?
I am inside my salon suite. So I'm upstairs in the business suites, where the water fountain is?
Yes. Yeah, right in the middle.
You enter behind there's glass doors, and upstairs, a lot of people in this area who've lived here for years
they don't know there's an upstairs.
It's there. Yeah. There's tons of things.
That's why
there.
I asked.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Facebook, Instagram. Do you have Facebook?
I have Instagram, Facebook. I've got pictures. I've got there's reviews, testimonies.
And it's both at Hemplication on Facebook and Instagram. Okay.
Hemplication Face and Body is what it's called, the whole full name, but Hemplication is pretty much everybody remembers.
Perfect. So it doesn't matter if you're athlete, bodybuilder,
any
competitor,
age.
any age.
There's benefits for everyone.
Benefits for everyone, and dogs and animals.
And dogs, yes. Dogs and cats.
And cats.
Furry friends.
Can't leave out those felines.
I'm gonna, I'm not gonna say what I think about cats because I'll upset 50% of our listeners. So, but basically, I urge everybody to go to somebody that knows what they're talking about. I will be definitely referring people.
Same.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So
I know I'm not the only one. There's a school here in Houston now that is teaching a lot of the same things that I learned. And there's a lot of people, gratefully, that are jumping on board and taking those courses and becoming educators as well.
But it still goes back to education.
That's what I'm saying. It's turning to where they're becoming, to where they're educating, and it's really nice to see that. There's a lot of other people who are adding CBD to their salons. There's a lot of the Me Too movement going on with that, but they still don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
And they, just like with all of the multi-level marketing, people were jumping on. They were given a box with a paper and said, "Go save the world."
Yeah.
That's not how it works, because everybody's different. There's so much to learn. I can't tell you how many different obstacles I went through with people and different illnesses, different ages, different, Crohn's, colitis, all of these different things. There's a lot to know, and the more questions, the better for me. I tell people, come and ask me whatever you want. Text me. I'll get in the middle of the night, people messaging me.
Perfect. Well, it's been a great show. I'm super happy to have had you on.
Thank you.
We urge everybody to go to Hemplication and go see Lisa here in the Woodlands, or Shenandoah. It's in Shenandoah, but at Portofino Shopping Center. But appreciate all the info, and enjoyed having you on. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week, and we will catch y'all next Thursday at 12 noon on Superhuman with Dr. V. See y'all next week.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.